was too slow and too tolerant.
Fentanyl was not anything that we were prepared for. And it was very complicated and it was very frustrating, and our laws were different then.
COVID also sparked an economic decline for businesses across the city, leaving parts of downtown eerily quiet. Major retailers shuttered their doors, citing crime and changing consumer habits, shifts the city is only just starting to cope with.
Downtown should have a long time ago been a place that's a 24/7 neighborhood. And with online shopping, with all of the different dynamics that come into play, it was only a matter of time before we got to a place like this.
Perhaps the biggest black eye for San Francisco on Mayor Breed's watch was the rise in retail theft and open-air drug markets, putting San Francisco in a harsh national spotlight. By December of 2021, Mayor Breed was pushing a new approach.
And less tolerant of all the bull that has destroyed our city.
I said what I said, and as a result, I made a hard decision that people were surprised that I made, to arrest dealers and to arrest users. And there was a lot of pushback. And it did not matter to me because it was necessary in order to combat the issues we were facing.
That speech marked a turning point in her administration, signaling a tougher stance on crime and drug enforcement. But some argued it came too late, as public safety became a top issue for voters in the election that would end her time as mayor. But it's a time she looks back on with pride.
That's really, what I'm most proud of, is being able to live my life the way I want to live it, to make something of myself despite my challenging circumstances growing up, and to really be so grateful. This has been such a privilege to serve as mayor, and it's really been the honor of my life.
And joining me live right now here at City Hall is Lauren Toms. You had a chance to speak to Mayor London Breed. So what was her mood when you were talking to her?
Yeah, she was definitely a little bit reserved, but also she signaled sort of the end of her time in City Hall and end perhaps to her time in public service. She spent the vast majority of her career, Ryan, in the service of others, in the service of San Francisco, starting out as a city official. She grew up just a couple of blocks away in public housing. She became a public official and then a city supervisor, and then making it all the way up to mayor. So she was definitely a little bit reserved, but you could see a little bit of relief as well. She hasn't really gotten a break or a vacation, for that matter, in the last 7 years. So she's a little reserved.
So that is the question. What is next for Mayor London Breed?
Exactly. So at this point, she doesn't really know. She did tell me that whatever it is, it's going to be in service of others. Like I just said, she spent the vast majority of her career in public service. So she does really enjoy serving the community, and she committed to whatever her next role is to doing just that. She also told me that she does plan on taking that vacation, perhaps a little bit extended, maybe 2 weeks, somewhere warm. But if I had a magic ball, Ryan, I would say that this is certainly not the last that we're going to see or hear from London Breed.
So she has been at the helm of the city of San Francisco since 2017. She has been the face for the city of San Francisco since 2017, almost 7 years. So that's a very long time. What was her biggest challenge, or what did she think was the downfall of that got Daniel Lurie elected?
Yeah, she definitely acknowledged her role in the public safety lows that the city has faced in the last couple of years. She attributed a lot of that to COVID and other laws in the state that have since been slowly overturned throughout her time in public office. But she definitely attributed most of that downfall to COVID and the public safety woes that we experienced then.
All right, thank you very much, Lauren Toms, and thank you to Mayor London Breed. We know that she does indeed love this city. Since 2017, she was the mayor of our city and definitely loves this city because she is a native of San Francisco. And after the incumbent London Breed conceded the race, Mayor-elect Lurie addressed the public and laid out his vision for the city. Our Wilson Walker has that story.
Soup dumpling. What I learned over these last 13 months is that so many people love this city. It's time for us to start making people feel like the city loves them back.
For Daniel Lurie, this was a day to feel the love himself a little bit, like these congratulatory dumplings during a merchant walk through Chinatown. But the merchant walk felt a lot like a victory lap, snapping photos with well-wishers and bumping into old friends like the president of the San Francisco Giants.
I just realized that I've known Daniel more than half of his life, going back 3 decades. So I think it's going to be fantastic to have him. The good thing about him is he's a great listener. He really knows the city and he really cares about the city.
Turning around this city will not happen overnight. We have extremely difficult challenges ahead.
Mixed in with the air of celebration was the acknowledgement that what Lurie has won is responsibility for the city's challenges, many of which have vexed mayors for decades.
Our mandate is to show how government must deliver on its promises: clean and safe streets for all, tackling our drug and behavioral health crisis, shaking up the corrupt and ineffective bureaucracy, building enough housing so our neighbors can afford to live here, supporting our small businesses, and breathing life back into downtown.
And when asked repeatedly to address national politics, Lurie steered away from ideology.
Listen, I have serious disagreements with President Donald Trump, but I will never let those disagreements get in the way of addressing the problems facing San Francisco. Next.
So in the very same park where he held one of his first campaign events, Lurie hoisted the title of mayor-elect, promising to lift the city of San Francisco as well.
This city will rise again. Thank you all for being here today.
And Lurie has said he plans to forgo his salary that comes with the office of mayor. That's about $400,000. And happening this morning, Mayor-elect Daniel Lurie spent the morning of his inauguration doing some things iconic to San Francisco. He walked through the Tenderloin, then of course rode the cable car from Powell to Market Street. And the celebration just getting started last night at an interfaith celebration at the Congregation Emmanuel. Our Kelsey Thord has that story.
Tomorrow, I will take the oath of office. But tonight, here in the temple that I grew up in, I want to make this promise to you. I will work tirelessly. I will work hard every single day to deliver results for San Franciscans. I will honor and protect our shared values of compassion, inclusion, and progress.
On the eve of his inauguration, Mayor-elect Daniel Lurie participated in what has become a tradition for incoming mayors of San Francisco, an interfaith service at the venue of their choosing. It's no surprise Lurie chose Temple Emmanuel, the synagogue he grew up attending and where his father was a rabbi.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he shine his countenance upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord give you a life of health, hope, happiness, and peace. I love you very much. And I believe with all my heart that he will be a blessing for all of San Francisco.
Dozens of religious leaders from across faiths gathered to offer their prayers for the new mayor. Michael Pappas is the executive director of the San Francisco Interfaith Council.
It's been an opportunity for the clergy of San Francisco to come together not only to pray for the new mayor, but also to commit ourselves to supporting through service.
Help us together to make San Francisco a place where people from different cultures.
Rabbi Ryan Bauer with Congregation Emmanuel says it's been an honor for them to host this service for one of their own. He, like all other faith leaders here, is offering nothing but support for the new mayor.
What I hope Mayor-elect Lurie takes away from tonight is that he is a man who believes in service, and in care, and that we do it in partnership across every aspect of San Francisco to make this city even more beautiful than it is today.
And it looks like Mayor-elect Lurie is planning to do just that, ending the night's service with these remarks.
My door will be always open to all of you on this stage. Thank you for the honor and the privilege, and I commit to all of you that I will never stop working on behalf of all of you and every single San Franciscan. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
And tonight, the new mayor will be in Chinatown, a night market and community festival starting at 5:30. After winning the election, this is where he took his victory lap. And tonight, he comes full circle with a banquet at the Far East Cafe to thank the city's largest voting bloc, as Asian Americans make up 35% of San Francisco. Well, coming up, what business owners hope to see next from the mayor-elect Daniel Lurie and some of the challenges that he could indeed face.
All right, again, as we're covering a new day in San Francisco with the inauguration of Mayor Daniel Lurie, we're also covering the terrible tragedies coming out of Southern California. Here's a live look at President Biden speaking right now. Let's listen in.
Two more being ready for the National Guard, the Nevada National Guard. 4 more coming from Northern Command, and 10 Navy helicopters. Water rockets are coming down. We're prepared to do anything and everything as long as it takes.
I know it's pretty hard to hear President Biden speaking right now. He's been in Southern California over the past several days before these fires broke out. He is now standing with Governor Gavin Newsom, getting an update on one of 4 fires that are burning right now. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, as we said, a new day in San Francisco, taking a live look at the city right now. We're getting ready for the inauguration of Daniel Lurie as the city's 46th mayor. The mayor-elect has already had a very busy morning, spending part of it at St. Anthony's dining room. He and his family put on aprons and rolled up their sleeves. They help serve breakfast there. St. Anthony's, of course, a San Francisco staple, providing meals all year round to those in need. And Daniel Lurie has a background in philanthropy, founding an anti-poverty nonprofit. We want to get back out live now to our Ryan Yamamoto at City Hall ahead of today's swearing in, where they have been preparing all morning, and we are just minutes away. Ryan.
Yeah, we're about 12 minutes away from Daniel Lurie being inaugurated as the 46th mayor of San Francisco. You can hear Kool and the Gang and Celebration playing in the background because today is a celebration. It is the changing of the guard as the City Hall outsider, Daniel Lurie, who campaigned as a City Hall outsider, will take the helm. And now the pressure is on for him to deliver on those meaningful change and all those promises. Lurie spent to get to work. Our Lauren Toms once again spoke with him and San Franciscans about what they're hoping to see from the next mayor and some of the challenges that Lurie could face.
Well, I've made no secret of my priorities. Public safety, the fentanyl crisis on our streets. We are going to make sure and treat it like the emergency that it is. And you'll hear more about that tomorrow. And then streamlining the bureaucracy, cutting the red tape, making it easier for our small businesses to do business here.
It's become somewhat of a common practice for restaurateur Gianluca Legrotale to escort his customers down the street to safely make it to his Soma restaurant. He's hoping the city's next mayor will improve streets like this within months.
Taxi driver don't want to drive through, so they drop off customers on the corner. My expectation is that someone opens his eyes or her eyes and understands the level of urgency that we need.
Regularly, he receives reviews like this one, praising his food and experience, but knocking down the restaurant for its location. It's an issue he hoped would improve after investments made by outgoing Mayor London Breed. But despite progress in some areas, what he sees has only gotten worse.
A year and a half ago, I think it marks the beginning of a decline. It's a shame that the heart of San Francisco has to face something like this.
Isan Looper has noticed change in the Tenderloin and is optimistic it will continue under Lurie. But he says the new mayor's biggest challenge will be proving that progress is being made.
And I think the challenge he'll find is that the city works at the speed of the city. And some things are very, very challenging to make move faster. That street that I can't walk on, I can walk on. That street that's dirty, it's not dirty anymore. When I call for help, the help comes and gives me the help I expect.
Lurie addressed the public, doubling down on his promises that change is on the horizon.
To execute on that promise of progress, I will create a government centered on accountability, service, and change so that we can be a city that is safe and welcoming to all.
Lurie will take the reins, having never held public office. Housing advocate Todd David says while Lurie will need to learn to navigate the red tape, any new mayor is going to face their challenges.
San Francisco City Hall is it's just a bureaucratic chasm. It just is, and any mayor there's going to be a learning curve.
And for Gianluca, he says he can't afford to risk San Francisco sliding any further into what he calls the rock bottom.
It might be critical for us, and we might have to decide to let go and just move on.
More than a hope, but a need that Lurie will bring the change that his business needs to survive.
Salute.
And also during his first address, Lurie said he is planning to declare a state of emergency on the fentanyl crisis on his first day in office. So we're live here once again at the Civic Center Plaza just outside of City Hall. The stage is now set. Daniel Lurie is set to become the 46th mayor of San Francisco. We'll be right back.
Your voices and your call for accountable leadership.
And welcome back live here at San Francisco City Hall, giving you a bird's eye view of Civic Center Plaza. You can see it is absolutely packed behind me as more than 200 people are just in this pit, are here to see Daniel Lurie become the next mayor of San Francisco. Outside, the public is also gathering to listen to the speeches that will happen here in a few moments. But once again, Daniel Lurie running as a City Hall outsider. But since winning the election, Lurie has been very busy filling up his administration, naming Stacey Slaughter, former San Francisco Giant executive, as his chief of staff, Matthew Godot, City Hall veteran, as his deputy chief of staff, and Han Zhou, who was his campaign manager, director of public affairs. Also, he has promised to create 4 policy chiefs to coordinate and oversee the more than 50 city departments, naming Alicia Jean-Baptiste. She is the head of the urban policy think tank Spur. She is now the chief of transportation, who will oversee infrastructure, climate, and transportation. Paul Yep, a former San Francisco Police Department commander, he will become the chief of public safety, working as a liaison between law enforcement agencies and, of course, City Hall. Ned Siegel, former Twitter CEO, chief of housing and economic development, he will oversee the revitalization of downtown after so many businesses left San Francisco. And Kunal Modi, chief of health, homelessness, and family services. That are the 4 chiefs. But back here live at Civic Center, they are now giving a warning for people to take their seats. So the inauguration is set to happen any moment now. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. Taking a live look over Civic Center Plaza in San Francisco from our helicopter this morning. It is Inauguration Day in the city, and just minutes from now, Daniel Lurie is going to be sworn in as the city's 46th mayor. Lurie taking the reins from incumbent Mayor London Breed and faces a lot of challenges that we all know of: crime and homelessness in San Francisco, trying to bring back downtown to what it once was. He's a political newcomer, but he says he is ready to take the city forward. Civic Center is packed and set up for the celebration. Local dignitaries, nonprofit leaders, and others are there ready for the official start of a new era in San Francisco. And our Ryan Yamamoto is front and center outside City Hall as we get ready for a new chapter. Ryan, you said people were about to take their seats.
Well, they are now taking their seats, and if you can see behind me and hear behind me, the members of the San Francisco Symphony have now taken the stage as this celebration is now starting. So let me throw it back to the stage for the inauguration of the 46th mayor of San Francisco, as Mayor-elect Daniel Lurie will indeed become the mayor of San Francisco. And back here live at the Civic Center Plaza outside of San Francisco City Hall, you're listening to the San Francisco Symphony taking the stage right now. As we know, Mayor-elect Daniel Lurie will now become the next mayor of San Francisco. So just some background on Daniel Lurie. He is the founder of the anti-poverty nonprofit Tipping Point and heir to the Levi Strauss fortune. He spent millions of his own money on his mayoral campaign and put a lot of his focus on courting the Chinese American voters, which make up 35% of the voting bloc here in the city of San Francisco. He is promising clean and safe streets for all to tackle the city's drug crisis and build more housing. He's also said from day one he will declare a state of emergency for the fentanyl crisis on his first day in office. Let me bring in Lauren Toms right now. And Lauren, you had a chance, as we're listening to the music right now, you had a chance to speak to Daniel Lurie. What is your impression of him? He painted himself as a city outsider. Will he be able to get things done at City Hall?
Yeah, well, he definitely has had a lot of success with his nonprofit, Tipping Point across the city. We've seen a handful of his buildings be erected, and as he said throughout the campaign trail, on time and under budget. That's definitely a theme that he plans to take with him as he enters City Hall later today. And when I spoke with him yesterday, he told me that he's rather calm. He told me that this is exactly what he's asking for, and he's ready to hit the ground running. So definitely some excitement there from Daniel Lurie yesterday. We can expect that excitement to continue through today.
One of the big changes he did make at City Hall, he named 4 policy chiefs that will head transportation, homelessness, public safety, and of course, downtown revitalization. How is that going to change the makeup of City Hall, you think?
Well, we're already seeing him being that political outsider by way of bringing in these people who, for the most part, are not from inside city government at this point. So he's bringing the change so far that a lot of these San Francisco voters have been asking for, namely with that public safety chief. He explained that there's supposed to be a liaison between PD, the sheriff's department, and the residents of San Francisco so that they can all speak together and cohesively rather than adding bureaucracy throughout the process.
Also, he's also adding as the symphony is now leaving the stage right now. You also talked to Mayor London Breed. What was her mood as she's stepping away from the mayor's office?
Yeah, she's definitely a bit reserved right now. She knows that she lost this election, but she does so with a lot of pride, right? She's very proud of the work that she did inside City Hall. We are seeing a lot of that change on the streets of San Francisco, so definitely leaving the office with some pride.
So we're going to give the stage to Mrs. Little Charlotte Yee, who is now introducing some of the members of the dignitaries that will take place in this inauguration. Let's take it back to the stage.
Thank you, Charlotte, for that wonderful introduction. I'm Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris, and I'm truly honored to welcome you here today. I want to start by taking a moment to acknowledge all the families impacted by the fires in Southern California and the first responders working tirelessly to keep them safe. Our hearts are with you. And now, I would like to welcome Mayor-elect Daniel Lurie, his wife, Becca Prouda, and the entire Prouda-Lurie family. I'd also like to acknowledge the first partner of California, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, our Lieutenant Governor, Eleni Kounalakis, Attorney General Rob Bonta, Senate Controller Malia Cohen, Senate President Pro Tem Senator Mike McGuire, Senator Scott Wiener, and Assemblyperson Catherine Stefani. I'd like to welcome Mayor London Breed and acknowledge former mayors Willie Brown, Frank Jordan, Art Agnos, and the families of former mayors Feinstein, Moscone, Alioto, and Shelley here today. I want to acknowledge the Board of Supervisors, the San Francisco Board of Education, the San Francisco Consular Corps, and so many of our esteemed current and former elected officials at the city, state, and national levels. And most importantly, all of the many everyday San Franciscans here today. Wow, the view from here is amazing. There are people filled with hope as far as the eye can see. I can tell you that hope takes courage. It requires discipline. Anybody who's spent time working on some of our city's toughest challenges knows that it's a struggle. It's full of heartbreak. But if you're willing to pick yourself up and fight for what you believe in, on the other side of that heartbreak, there can be great healing. And that's what San Franciscans are all about. The greatest minds, innovators, advocates, artists, scientists, educators, literally all of us. Together, I know that we can create the conditions for communities, businesses, and families to thrive. I met the mayor-elect in 2005 when I was a young pediatrician trying to start a clinic in Bayview Hunters Point. He didn't ask me to come to his office downtown. He came to me. I told him that I wanted to create a new model for serving families and addressing childhood trauma. He listened and quickly became an early investor in that vision. And I'm not just talking about financial resources. I have personally seen him fight some tough fights so that the families that I served could get what they needed. So it was no surprise to me when soon community organizers started saying, "Hey, Dr. Burke, I was at this meeting the other day. What's up with the white guy at the back of the room with his sleeves rolled up?" And I'd say, "Oh yeah, that's Daniel. He's legit." I was proud to vouch for him then, and I'm thrilled to celebrate him here today as he brings his partnership, humility, vision, and that fight to City Hall. As California's first Surgeon General, I learned quickly that good government is essentially about leading from behind, but accountability comes from the top. Mayor-elect Daniel Lurie understands both of these things deeply. He lives them. He does it because he loves San Francisco, and he knows that it's special. This is a place where everyone is welcome, where passion, that's what we're celebrating, where passion for all of our different beliefs is celebrated. Now, that can make bringing people together to overcome big challenges tricky. It requires being present. It requires a profound ability to find common ground, especially when we disagree. And that's exactly what Mayor-elect Lurie does. He has demonstrated that to him, everyone is important. Everybody counts. I am incredibly proud that the work that we started together in Bayview 2 decades ago to help children and families heal has been expanded throughout California and replicated in other states. We start things here that take root and grow. San Francisco is a hub of innovation, and not just for technology, but for how we take care of each other. It's a new day in San Francisco. Mayor-elect Lurie, I'm grateful to have been walking alongside you all these years. Thank you for your leadership today and in all the days to come.
Hi, my name is Kusho Kumadan. I'm a 3rd grader at Yickle Elementary School. Please rise for the presentation of the colors and the singing of the national anthem by legendary singer-songwriter Lenny Williams from Tower Power and the Glide Ensemble.
Come back up top.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Hi, my name is Liliana Gutierrez. I'm a first grader at All Royal Elementary School. Please welcome the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr. Hola, mi nombre es Liliana Gutierrez. Yo voy a primer grado en la Escuela Alvarado. Por favor, denle la bienvenida al director técnico de los Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr.
Thank you. Thank you, Liliana. Hi, everyone. I am so proud and honored to be here today to welcome in a new era of leadership to San Francisco. Today is an exciting day, obviously a gorgeous day, filled with hope and promise. There's a spirit in the air and optimism, and it's authentic, just like this city. We have been through an awful lot in recent years, and our city has taken some hits, but we are bouncing back, and Mayor-elect Lurie is ready to guide our city to new heights. In my 10 years living in the Bay, I have come to love this city for its beauty, its diversity, and its authenticity. This is a special place to live. We all know that. We are, of course, not without our problems. Over the past few years, especially following COVID, we have had to deal with some difficult issues. The fentanyl crisis, homelessness, theft, housing shortages, etc. We have a lot to improve and plenty to fix. One thing I have learned as a coach is that my job is to inspire and teach, but also to listen. Leadership is about creating a vision for success by building a culture of collaboration, purpose, and joy with the people you're leading. The people I'm trying to inspire, my players, they're the ones who do the work. They're often teaching me as much as I'm teaching them because we are looking at things together and trying to find solutions. Ultimately, the players are the ones determining whether our team wins with the quality of their play. I'm just trying to help them get there. I imagine Mayor-elect Lurie's job to be a similar one, albeit with larger consequences, of course. A mayor isn't going to fix problems by himself or herself, just like a coach doesn't score any baskets or block any shots. He isn't going to be able to wave a magic wand and create safety and security, affordable housing, better schools, and a thriving economy for all. We are going to do that together. Mayor-elect Lurie is going to give us inspiration and a vision. He will listen, and he will provide the political guidance we need to navigate the issues we face. But ultimately, the citizens of San Francisco will determine what kind of city we will be. We have an incredibly fertile environment for this city to thrive. In fact, the same things that made the Warriors a sleeping giant a decade ago are the things that give San Francisco the opportunity to be one of the great cities of the world. Brilliant, innovative minds, amazing academic institutions, financial power, a hub of technology, innovation, natural beauty, amazing food, wine, culture, incredible people who have a passion and energy for life that is palpable every single day. I feel it at Chase every game night. But for our city to reach its potential, we have to channel our energy to set aside our differences, instead make a difference for one another. Just like the Warriors, we have to bring our individual talents to the table with the idea of making the whole better. Indeed, there is strength in numbers. Mayor-elect Lurie understands this dynamic, and that's why I'm so excited for his vision for the city. But let today be a day where we remind each other that our future is in our own hands, and that it's up to each and every one of us to bring our talents, our efforts, our sacrifice, our love, and our joy to the common cause of making San Francisco the best city in the world. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cole Quince, and I'm an 8th grader at Willie Brown Middle School. Please welcome future First Lady of San Francisco, Becca Prouda.
Well, thank you, Cole, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you also to all of our SF-USD student announcers this morning. Weren't they awesome? I have to tell you, it is just absolutely an honor to be up here. Thank you to all of you for taking time out of your busy lives to join us here in Civic Center Plaza, one of San Francisco's most incredible public parks. Your love for this city and your willingness to fight for it have brought us here today, and it is truly humbling. In searching for the words to adequately match this moment, I kept coming back to the word service. Service is a value standing at the core of our family. It's what inspired Daniel to devote his life to fighting poverty and to this city. Daniel and I both believe it's not enough to just live in a place. You have to take action to make that place better. For us, San Francisco is that place. Picking up trash on your neighborhood streets, serving a meal to someone in need, giving directions to a turned-around tourist, these are all acts of service. Service brings us closer, it creates a sense of pride, it drives change. But you don't have to be the mayor to be in service to San Francisco and to one another. And no one exemplifies that more than Jesse Peterson. If you know Daniel, you know it's fitting that he is breaking with tradition to take the oath of office from Jesse, a San Franciscan who has lived a life in service outside of the spotlight. Daniel and I met Jessie more than a decade ago when she shared her life story with the Tipping Point community. She is a powerful example of self-determination and resilience. After being removed from her parents' care at just 2 weeks old, Jessie found love, stability, and a commitment to education in her foster mom, Patty. Despite trials and tribulations, and with the support of the San Francisco State Guardian Scholars Program, Jessie became the first person in her family to graduate from college and went on to the University of San Francisco School of Law, where she graduated with honors. She now works in the Office of the State Public Defender, where she dutifully protects the constitutional rights of others. From the moment Jessie set foot in San Francisco, she knew this was home. She is a testament to the power of service and to community, not only because of what she continues to do for others, but because of all of the people who have showed up to support her along the way. I couldn't be prouder to welcome Jessie here today to administer the oath of office.
Thank you so much, Becca. I feel incredibly honored, privileged, and humbled to be here today. When I came here to go to college at the age of 18, wide-eyed at my first look at the Golden Gate Bridge, never did I imagine I'd be swearing in the 46th mayor of San Francisco. I would not be standing on this stage today without the help and generosity of countless others who believed in me and saw my potential along the way. I am here today not as a lawyer, but as a proud San Franciscan and mom who is committed to raising my family here. With that, I'd like to invite Mayor-elect Daniel Lurie and his children, Taya and Sawyer, to the stage for the oath of office. Place your hand on the Constitution and repeat after me. I, Daniel Lurie, do solemnly swear
I, Daniel Lurie, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign or domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I will bear true faith to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
and I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter during such time as I hold the office as Mayor and City of San Francisco.
Mayor and City of San Francisco.
Congratulations.
I'm going to take it in for a minute. I actually just spoke to Mayor Breed about an hour ago, and she told me, take a moment, Mayor, thank you for telling me to do that. Jesse, thank you. I couldn't be more proud to take my oath as mayor alongside you here today. I want to thank my wife, Becca, our kids, Taya and Sawyer, my parents, my siblings, for their support here today and every day. I also want to acknowledge the life of President Jimmy Carter, who showed us all what it means to lead with humanity and integrity. And my heart goes out to our friends and family, and I want to take a moment to send our love to our neighbors down south in Southern California who are hurting. And when one of our fellow California cities is hurting, we all hurt. Mayor London Breed and San Francisco Fire Department sent a team down there. I had friends that just heard that they saw a caravan of fire trucks going down 101. So we send them our best and we hold them closely. I want to also thank again Mayor London Breed for your advice, your counsel, and for your tremendous service to the city and county of San Francisco. Thank you. I want to welcome the first partner of California, Jen Siebel Newsom. Thank you for being with us today. Mayor Willie Brown, who I had a front row seat for, but he's standing somewhere over there. So Mayor Willie Brown, Mayor Art Agnos, Mayor Frank Jordan, thank you. I want to thank our incoming Board of Supervisors and all of our esteemed elected guests here today. And finally, and most importantly, I want to thank all of you for being here today. Today marks the beginning of a new era of accountability and change at City Hall, one that, above all else, serves you, the people of San Francisco. That begins now. I entered this mayor's race not as a politician, but as a dad who couldn't explain to my kids what they were seeing on our streets. And that has never hit me as hard as it did last month at San Francisco General Hospital. After meeting an extraordinary team of nurses, doctors, social workers, and addiction specialists, we ended our tour in the NICU. There, I stood in the quiet of a nursery, surrounded by babies in critical condition, some of them recovering from fentanyl exposure. It was a heartbreaking picture of our city's shortcomings in addressing the crisis on our streets. But as I listened to the nurses talk about their tiny patients, I began to hear that familiar sound of hope. The same hope that I've heard on every street corner in every neighborhood across 7 square miles. Make no mistake, hope is alive and well in San Francisco. The nurses assured me that with the right treatment and care, these babies are incredibly resilient. They get better. After seeing an Instagram post about my experience in the NICU, one mother commented, 3 years ago, that was my baby and me. And I want everyone in San Francisco to know that recovery is possible, she said. And she's right. Recovery is possible, but it needs to be more than a possibility in San Francisco. It must be our mission. Together, we can all get better, do better, and return San Francisco to its rightful place as the greatest city in the world. San Francisco has long been known for its values of tolerance and inclusion, but nothing about those values instructs us to allow nearly 8,000 people to experience homelessness in our city. Widespread drug dealing, public drug use, and constantly seeing people in crisis has robbed us of our sense of decency and security. Now, safety isn't just a statistic. It's a feeling you hold when you're walking down the street. That insecurity is harming families and businesses in the Tenderloin, south of Market, the Mission, and beyond. I refuse to believe that this is who we are. You voted for accountability and change, a clear mandate that my administration will work to fulfill every single day. But, as Coach said, lasting change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. But if we are consistent, if we have vision, if we aren't afraid to make tough decisions, San Francisco will rise to new heights. Now, with the largest budget deficit in the history of our city, we can no longer hide from our fiscal reality. A problem of this magnitude requires us to make some painful decisions and rethink the way that we operate. We need to stop spending more than we can afford. We need to prioritize essential services and make the investments that are critical to getting San Francisco up and running again. And when we come out the other side, and we will, we must ensure that every San Franciscan shares in our new prosperity. From this moment forward, there is a new structure in the mayor's office, one that allows for more accountability and more opportunities for city departments to work together effectively to solve our most pressing problems. We are assembling a world-class administration, a cross-section of people from every sector and point of view. We will fight every day for San Francisco's future and a safer, more affordable city for all. We cannot continue to triage the crises that we face. If we're going to turn the city around, good intentions are not enough. Strong values are not enough. We must act with an unapologetic focus on results and create the solutions that last far beyond the tenure of this administration. Starting today, we are treating the fentanyl crisis as the emergency that it is. As we speak, the San Francisco Police Department and Sheriff's Department are rapidly shifting resources and personnel to bring drug dealers to justice and clean up our streets. Today, what has been a temporary effort to deal with the increasing drug markets will be a permanent fixture of this administration. The fentanyl crisis isn't a 9-to-5 operation. It doesn't take breaks, and neither will we. That's why I'm introducing a package of fentanyl state of emergency ordinances. This will allow us to further surge resources and bypass the bureaucratic hurdles standing in the way of tackling this crisis. I look forward to working with the incoming Board of Supervisors for their quick approval. I want to thank all of you for your shared commitment to defeating the scourge of fentanyl and untreated mental illness on our streets. Thank you. Thank you. This authorization will fast-track a public-private partnership to stand up temporary emergency shelter beds and address the homelessness crisis on our streets. It's time. It is time to move past the politics of demonizing each other on every single issue. It's time to redefine how politics works in our city when we stand united. We send a clear message to the city and the country that you do not come to San Francisco to deal drugs or do drugs on our streets, and if you do, you will be held accountable. This is truly a new era of cooperation and mutual respect between City Hall, the Board of Supervisors, law enforcement, and the thousands of city employees working on the front lines. Without you, we cannot carry on this vision for change. Which is why you have my guarantee that there will be zero cuts to sworn officers, 911 operators, EMTs, firefighters, and nurses. Our first responders who are here today looking out for all of us. Thank you very much. But our first responders, they need to know that we have their back. We will do everything in our power to fully restaff the police department, sheriff's department, and 911 response team and incentivize them to stay. And let's be clear, we must also operate with the understanding that not every issue needs to be solved by someone with a badge and a gun. We currently have at least 9 street teams operated by 5 different departments. And despite having made a vast investment of resources and personnel, no one thinks the current structure is working. Our first step in streamlining our crisis response is to mandate that all departments coordinate to build and maintain a single public-facing street conditions dashboard. You can't build strong solutions without good data. We will also be embedding behavioral health specialists in dedicated first responder units. Until now, the only options our first responders have had is to take those who are suffering from mental health issues or addiction to hospital or jail. I'm excited to announce that this spring we will open the city's first 24/7 police-friendly drop-off center. This will create better pathways to treatment and give police the authority to hold those who refuse help accountable. As we move people off the streets and into recovery, we will also expand the Journey Home program, providing increased transportation and support for those ready to reunite with loved ones or access care outside of San Francisco. Another key to producing better outcomes on our streets is to focus our investments in high-performing nonprofit service providers. This will not only save us money, it will help the city's best nonprofits shine and better serve the needs of the most vulnerable San Franciscans. More accountability and effective distribution of our resources will clear the path for San Francisco's recovery. Making our streets safer and cleaner will supercharge the revitalization of our downtown corridor. I'm excited to announce that we will be launching the SFPD Hospitality Zone Task Force. This dedicated police unit will create a more welcoming and safe environment for workers, shoppers, and visitors in the Union Square, Market Street, and Moscone Center areas, and not just when there's a conference in town, but when it's every single day, 365 days a year. From engaging local artists to once again becoming a destination for world-class events and tourism, we are building the foundation for a safe urban core that is thriving and inviting to all. My job is not to demand that the private sector be back in the office every day. My job is to make you want to be downtown again for work, with your family, and with your friends. And let me take a moment and say none of this can happen if the hotel industry isn't open for business. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the hotel workers of Local 2 and hotel management for coming together to reach an agreement that ended the longest hotel strike in city history. We got people back to work in time for the holidays, and our hotels are welcoming visitors again, enabling us to attract and host events like the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference next week and the NBA All-Star Game in February. There is no denying it. San Francisco is coming back. There's a rising sense of pride and optimism in this city right now that cannot be stopped. With that momentum, we must proactively plan for the next housing and economic boom. Within our first 100 days, we will take bold action to enable more housing at all income levels and help new businesses and buildings get their permits more quickly. to our small businesses, who I know have been suffering. The era of a new restaurant going through 40 inspections and receiving 50 different answers is over. That's our promise to you. We can no longer wait for the right conditions to build. We must do our part to create those conditions. Now, better coordination between departments may not sound sexy, but it's going to be a hallmark of this administration. I'm talking about the kind of coordination that will keep one department from tearing up your street for maintenance and another from doing it again 2 weeks later. We have allowed far too many people to lose faith in government. I know that we can restore that faith. As your mayor, I'm going to take aim at the problems that need solving right here in San Francisco, because that is what you elected me to do. But I also know that many feel a great sense of fear and loss about the state of our country right now. I share those concerns. San Francisco has long been a historic beacon for human rights, and we cannot be complacent. Attacks on LGBTQ+ rights, hate crimes, and the vilification of immigrant communities are happening across the country, including right here at home. San Francisco must be a city where every individual feels safe, valued, and empowered. That means standing firm against discrimination and fighting for the dignity of all communities, no matter what comes our way. As your mayor, I will always tell you the truth, even when they are hard truths. The challenges ahead of us are enormous. But in the words of Harvey Milk, you have to give them hope. Hope for a better world, hope for a better tomorrow. And I gotta tell you, as I look out on this incredible crowd, I feel that hope. But that feeling on its own, it's not enough. It must be paired with the courage to act. Now is the time for action. This is where our comeback begins. There are green shoots everywhere, but my standard for success is sky high. It is the greatest honor of my life to serve as your mayor at this critical moment in our history. I'm asking all of you, every single one of you, to join me in reclaiming our place as the greatest city in the world, with a new era of accountability, service, and change. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work, San Francisco. Thank you very much.
All right, and with that, San Francisco has a brand new mayor. You see him there, Daniel Lurie, in a service that is continuing right now at Civic Center Plaza, just outside of San Francisco City Hall. He just talked about declaring a fentanyl state of emergency and holding people who refuse help with the drug problem accountable. Also, his efforts to create a safe and vibrant downtown and better coordination between city departments. He had a very hopeful tone, and we're going to hear a little bit more from our Ryan Yamamoto live at the scene coming up in a few minutes. But I want to address the other big story we are following this afternoon. Terrifying images out of Los Angeles County. A windstorm fanning flames of at least 3 major and now deadly wildfires. They are burning out of control, destroying homes and businesses, and forcing tens of thousands of Californians to evacuate. CBS's Danya Bacchus reports from the Palisades fire, which is now the most destructive fire in Los Angeles history, with an estimated 1,000 homes burned.
Fire officials say there are no reported fatalities from the Palisades fire that is burning where I am, but a high number of injuries to people who did not evacuate. Unfortunately, 2 people were killed in the Eaton fire.
Oh, wow, the whole thing just went down. The whole house just collapsed.
The images are apocalyptic. What started as a brush fire ballooned into the Palisades fire. It's one of 3 wind-fueled fires in the area. Firefighters are picking their battles with parts of the Pacific Palisades beyond saving.
Obviously, this one here is a total loss, so they're trying to move ahead and skip ahead, get in front of the fire, and keep it from going from one building onto the next.
Firefighters are also battling fatigue and finding some hydrants without water. The danger is ever present. One man using a hose to douse flames almost got burned in the process.
Good?
Tens of thousands have had to evacuate, and Tuesday some residents fled in such a hurry. Some abandoned their cars in the gridlock.
There's a lot of fire right there. That's why the people coming. We leave the car.
It's hard to see, hard to breathe, and hard for firefighters to contain, as seen by this home that's completely engulfed by flames. Worst of all, the wind.
Okay, the wind's starting to pick up again, so it's going to get a little gusty, and the smoke's going to start coming through one more time.
Hurricane-force winds are also fueling the Eaton fire northeast of Los Angeles.
You can imagine trying to fight fire in those winds. It is really incredibly challenging and volatile and unpredictable.
Firefighters are hoping for even the slightest relief.
Those winds will die down somewhat as we head into this afternoon and into this evening, but we're still seeing that offshore flow.
Crews hope to minimize further damage in this trifecta of dangerous fires.
Many celebrities call Pacific Palisades home, like Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg, and Ben Affleck. The Los Angeles Unified School District has temporarily relocated students from Palisades campuses.
And taking a live look right now northeast of the Palisades fire. Fire crews battling the deadly Eaton fire in Pasadena. You can see firefighters there. There are 2 confirmed deaths after it exploded last night, burning more than 11,000 acres so far. Right now, it is 0% contained. Jessica Birch here to talk to us a little bit about some of the conditions that have been driving this extreme fire weather. I mean, the wind that we've been seeing down there is just unbelievable.
And we were talking about it earlier this morning. This is the type of wind event that you'd see maybe once in a decade. And when we're talking about how strong these winds are, well, we've seen gusts close to around 100 miles per hour. How on earth are aircraft able to get to these fires, or the boots on the ground able to get to those fires when they're dealing with such strong gusty conditions? That's the big issue they're dealing with right now. And so taking a look at current conditions, the winds are going to die down later into the evening hours tonight, but it's important to note the science behind why this is happening. The Santa Ana winds happen widespread throughout Southern California at times, but it's usually driven by high pressure parked offshore, kind of driving them in from the north. But we have this area of low pressure parked just south of it. It's like 2 gears working in the same direction. It's creating this very strong pressure gradient down into Southern California, and that's the exact reason why we are still dealing with wind gusts reported anywhere up to around 80 to 90 miles per hour. Now, I want to mention another thing too. This wind event has been impacting us here locally. We were under a wind advisory earlier this morning, but we weren't dealing with gusts nearly as strong as what they have. Now, this is the big reason and the driver for why these fires are spreading in such grand size like they are right now. And we head up to the Santa Clarita Mountains, they're still dealing with wind gusts at the surface level, anywhere up to around 45 to 50 miles per hour just near Malibu. Now, watching this into the evening hours tonight, those winds will die down. Interestingly enough, that's when the smoke from those from that fire, all those fires together, will actually start to sweep back into the Los Angeles basin, causing air quality alerts. Changing gears though, I want to head into our local areas. The winds are dying down for us here locally too. Wind speeds down to around 5 to 10 miles per hour into the overnight hours tonight, and then we're left with beautiful but dry conditions throughout the next 6 to 10 days. And this is issued by the Climate Prediction Center. So getting a good look at the next 7 days, we'll cool down a little bit more from the mid 60s to the low 60s into this weekend and early next week, with sunny conditions each day widespread from our inland areas all the way over into the Bay too. We'll be right back.